What's up everybody, Dimitri of Caddac Gaming here. Today we're going to go over 5 tips for your overlays within OBS to be more efficient, to be more creative, and to be a little bit more stylish, and to help your stream just look better and perform better. If you find today's video helpful, please consider liking and subscribing. It really helps with the whole algorithm thing, and you'll be able to see all of my future videos that I put up on Fridays relating to streaming, tech, gaming, and more. If you have any questions about today's video, or you just want to talk to me about stuff, I stream on Twitch from Fridays until Tuesdays, so feel free to hop into my chat. I'll leave a link in the video description below. Let's hop right into it. So my first tip is stacking overlays and using more generic overlays. So if you're going to have your alerts, for example, and you're not going to have them change depending on which scene you're using, I would suggest you create an overlay just for your alerts. And then doing so, you can use that same alert overlay across all of your scenes, and you can do something like what I've done, which I'll show you right now. All right, so here we are. And as you can see here, I have an alerts group where all of my alerts are grouped together. So I can go and add this group to any one of my scenes and it will overlay all of my alerts. So I only have to have my alerts done once, and I can easily add them to as many scenes as I want, and I don't have to make a new overlay for a scene specifically for my alerts. So I can use these and combine them with other overlays really nicely and quickly create new scenes, especially scenes that maybe you don't use too often and you just want to go and create it just for a fun moment, or for a specific game you're playing or for a specific event. Really quickly and easily done, and it makes everything much easier. My second tip is using scenes within scenes to create dynamic pieces of your scene, kind of like what I do with my webcams, for example. And I'll go ahead and show you this. All right, so as you can see here, I have a group called cam positions with a bunch of scenes within this scene. So the way to add a scene inside of another scene, you right click, you go to add, and you can add a scene. So I've made all of these scenes here that are my cam in different quick positions. So if I want to just quickly go and move my cam from one side to the other, I can easily do that. So let me show you that real quick. So if I want to go and move my cam from the left to the right, all I have to do is turn on the right and turn off the left. So normally I'm doing this in studio mode, so you wouldn't see both cams on at the same time. On my preview, I would go and change the cam to the right hand side and then transition from the preview over to the stream. And I have a whole bunch of positions set up. So I have, bottom corners, and then my typical left hand side, and then I have a fun one for when I'm dead in a game. I haven't reset up my webcam in this one, so it's not appearing, but you get the picture. It's a really easy way to quickly set up positions. If you end up doing, like, for example, people who play Call of Duty Warzone, while they're in the lobby, right, they will change their section of the overlay to be the game much smaller and their webcam a lot bigger, and maybe their Discord or whoever's in there. And then as soon as they go into the game, it just quickly switches. So instead of having to do multiple scenes and transitioning between scenes, you can add scenes within scenes. You can use that to do stuff like I mentioned before with your overlays. There's a whole lot of flexibility, and it really allows you to quickly change between things without having to transition via the scene transitions. It's really easy to do it within one scene, which is really nice. So my third tip is less is more. A couple years ago, and when Twitch really started to ramp up, the really popular thing was to have really big, obnoxious overlays where, you know, on the top of your screen, it would show your top tipper, your most recent follower, your most recent sub, and it was this huge bar that took up a really big section. Or even on the bottom, people would have large like event tickers that would be on the side of their screen that would have all these things. I used to have one, but now I think a lot of people are realizing that people focus more on you, and if you create a more simple overlay, one that accentuates yourself, your personality, but also the gameplay, and doesn't really take away too much or add too much clutter, it's a much better experience for everybody. And when you're on mobile, all that stuff gets squished together. So if you have a whole bunch of stuff on your screen, it's a lot harder for them to see what's going on. So my personal opinion, and a tip for you, less is more. So for example, now my overlay is this. Much more simple. I have the whole ticker on the bottom here that goes through all my stuff. I have my socials that rotate through here, and then I have my badge metric here that rotates when somebody subscribes to me. And I really enjoy it. I really like how simple and how easy it is. And a really nice thing about this is I can move my camera around now as much as I want, and it doesn't really take much. Before, if I wanted to move my camera around, I had to move that event ticker, I had to move that little box below my camera, I had to move like one of those bars, for example. So this just makes everything so much easier to be flexible and easily changed to whatever you need it to be. My fourth tip is to make your overlay a reflection of you. Give it some of your own personality. Use your favorite colors. Utilize things that represent you and that your community identifies with you, right? So for example, I am very bacon focused. So a lot of my stuff has a lot of red and it mentions a lot of bacon. And I've taken pre-made widgets made by people like Sam Woodhall and Harris Heller, and I have taken a stream package from Nerd or Die, and I have personalized it with my own colors, my own layouts, and everything to make it how I want it, how I want to portray myself. So I think that is extremely important, and you don't want your stream to look exactly like somebody else's. You can take ideas and like resources from other streamers. The resources only if they're providing them for you to be used. But you can utilize those and then combine a whole bunch and mix them together to make it your own. And that's probably one of my most fun, like one of my favorite things to do, is just to constantly customize and change my overlays in my stream to be fun. And I think it's very important. My fifth tip is going to be use your overlay to provide information, but don't overwhelm with the amount of information you provide. So like I mentioned in the last part, those old overlays where, you know, there was so much information at once and it was really overwhelming and it took up a lot of space. You know, providing information is good, you know, acknowledging recent subscribers, tippers, showing your socials so that people can follow you in other places is all very much important. It's a very important thing to do, but do it in a very smart way so that it doesn't take away from your stream. So as I mentioned before, my stream has a few rotating elements that rotate through a bunch of different information so that it doesn't use up as much real estate on my stream but it does show everybody the information that they want. So I have one that rotates through socials. I have one that rotates through most recents. So most recent subscriber, follower, tipper, cheers, all that kind of stuff. And then I have one that goes through my totals. So my total followers, my total subscribers, and then my goal. And I'll show you that in a second. So here that is. So in the middle here, it goes through all of my recents. So you have my most recent subscriber, cheers, follower, tips, raids, all that fun stuff is right below me. And then over on this side, we have my total numbers. So 16 subscribers, 200 and something followers, and then it has my goal of 35 subscribers. Right down here, it shows that I have a Discord, a YouTube, and a Twitter, but it doesn't show any further information because that is actually right up here, and this will rotate through all of those things and show the names that I am on each of those platforms. So, you know, all of this is in one very small section of my stream, and it adds some flair, and I personally think it looks good, and I think that's important. And bonus tip number 6, talk to your community. Whenever I make really big changes to my overlays, I go and talk to people that watch my streams and enjoy, you know, talking to me about these kinds of things. And I say, hey, you know, I made this change. What do you think about it? Hey, I redid part of my overlay. Do you have any tips? You know, does it look good? All that kind of stuff. Because in the end, as much as you do it for yourself, like I do, you also do it for your viewers and your community. So make sure that you make them a part of the process. You know, if you make a big change, announce it. Be like, hey guys, made this big change. Come check it out tonight on stream. Give me some feedback. Let me know what you guys think. And it really helps them become more engaged. And feedback from your community is super important. To me, it's huge. I do all of this for other people. You know, I don't really do it for me. I enjoy streaming, but my favorite part about streaming is that community aspect, you know, talking with new people in the chat, you know, talking to people in the Discord and all that kind of fun stuff. So make your community a part of creating those overlays and let them give you feedback and advice, because if anything, you know, those are the people that stare at it the most. So I think it's really important. If you liked today's video, please consider liking and subscribing. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, or join our Discord, where we have tons of people who stream all different types of content, from art to DJs to gaming, and we got tons of people who just love conversations and love spreading memes. Also, don't forget that I stream on Twitch from Fridays until Tuesdays. Feel free to hop in my chat. I'd love to talk to you. Be great to see you there, and I'll see you guys next Friday. That's it. We're done. I have a special sound I just set up for it. With 70. Oh shit! Hold on.
I don't have enough money for chicken nugget.
Did he do it?
That's amazing.
There's 3 mid, by the way.